I'm gone, your Earth will be free to live out its miserable span of existence. It's one of my satellites. And that's how it's going to be.
Alright everybody, happy July 21st, well technically July 22nd. This is Tony Lucero and you are listening to Ghost Radio live on Spreaker. Alright, we'll go ahead and get down to business first before we begin tonight's show. Tonight's show is brought to you by our generous sponsors, Norina Martinez out in Los Angeles, as well as the talented Sarah Marsh out in the San Fernando Valley, part of California, as well as Mario Moreno out in Santa Fe Springs, and of course our anonymous donor out in Kern County over in Bakersfield, California. Tonight's episode is brought to you by the Late Night Horror Film Festival. Late Night Horror Film Festival is the city of Downey's premier horror film festival, featuring the best in independent, unreleased horror films. For more information, log on to www.latenightHorrorFilmFest.com. I know it's a mouthful, I'll say it one more time. LateNightHorrorFilmFest.com. So it's been a pretty bizarre weekend weather-wise here in Southern California. We've actually had rain and thunderstorms. How about that, everybody? Geez, what's next? The earthquake? Okay, don't mean to be cynical, but I just read via Facebook thread that there was just a 6.6 magnitude earthquake in China. Okay, I won't touch bases on the whole earthquake thing. So, like I say every night, lines are open for the next half hour for discussion. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say as far as your paranormal experiences go. I'm also here to answer any questions. The lines are open. Area code 562-712-3812. Once again, that's 562-712-3812. So it's been a pretty bizarre July. Can't believe we're already almost, into August. And it's been pretty nuts. I mean, we've had all sorts of activity, especially with this weird weather. I'm not just talking about, fender benders and such. For instance, UFO sightings. I was reading the latest UFO sightings reports here in Los Angeles County. And apparently, a couple of weeks ago, there was a UFO sighting broad daylight just above MacArthur Park in the Westlake area of Los Angeles, kind of adjacent to downtown LA. Apparently there were daytime reports of unidentified flying objects hovering over the lake, darting in and around the the high rises in the area. I was looking at some of the video footage and it did look kind of shaky, so I'll download it, attach it to the site at ghostradioUSA.weebly.com. I'll actually be posting that video up so you guys can take a look at it and kind of analyze it, if you will, and let us know what you think. Area code 562-712-3812 is the number. Yeah, normally we're on at 10 o'clock at night, but we're dealing with a little bit of some technical issues, if you will. And, well, hey, we're on tonight at midnight. Our neighbors don't seem to mind being up so late. It sounds like a party going on, so of course I'm over here in the home studio missing it, but that's okay. I'm here to talk to you guys for the next, half an hour. So, this weekend at the box office, I'd like to talk about this movie, The Conjuring, based on true events, with the, I guess you could say, the rock stars of the paranormal investigation field, the ghost hunting, if you will. The esteemed Lorraine and Ed Warren. story of their account with one of the most haunted and deemed evil places in the United States. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about The Conjuring. I've been reading your tweets and your Facebook postings, and I see a lot of you went to the movie theater this weekend to watch that film. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go see it this weekend. Been busy. Like I said, those of you that know me, I am a freelance photographer and videographer. It's wedding season, and it's just been editing hell, so taking a little break to talk to you guys about some paranormal stuff. So, summertime tends to be one of the craziest, I don't want to say craziest, but to have the most abundant reports of paranormal activity as far as UFOs go, cryptozoology. Why is that? Well, simply put, everybody is out and about. Today we were coming back from San Diego and seen all sorts of people just driving up the road, driving back into LA, loads of camping gear strapped on top of their SUVs and back of their pickups and such. So people are out and about. They're out in the open, they're out in open skies, fresh air, and more important, away from the haze and smog of city lights and city skylines. So they're able to see things. So UFO sightings are abundant, especially with campers. Aside from UFOs, there's a little thing called cryptozoology. It's a part of paranormal science, if you will. And just briefly, cryptozoology touches base with mythical beings. For example, my favorite, Sasquatch, only because I think I'm related to the guy. At least so I'm told. But you have Sasquatch, you have werewolves, you have the Slender Man, you've got, Chupacabra, whatever, A lot of people tend to, have sightings of this sort, especially when they're camping, they're out in the woods. And, well, there are things that could actually be seen as paranormal in the cryptozoology field. And there are many things that can be debunked. It's about a 50-50 option. First of all, with the whole paranormal aspect, say you're camping in the woods, you're sitting around the campfire, roasting weenies and s'mores with the kids, or kicking back with your buds, case of cold ones, popping a brew, and you hear some snaps and snapping of twigs out in the woods around you. You guys tend to jump up and get all freaked out. Some people say, oh my god, it's Bigfoot who's out there, tree spirits and such. Hey, all keen observations and such, but first and foremost, remember, you guys are out in the woods, so safety first. Don't go jumping out in the woods, breaking the rules of horror films, so to speak, to try to catch a glimpse of one of these mythical beings. First of all, let me tell you something. If you are out, and like I said, everything I talk about is from either personal experience or first-hand knowledge based on my research. Now, coming from both angles, don't go looking for Bigfoot. I'm not saying he doesn't exist. I've seen things, I have evidence and such, and although the famous film that depicts, Bigfoot, Sasquatch running across, metal and creek bed in broad daylight, obviously was confessed by its cameraman before he took his last breath on Earth, to say that it was a fake print. Anyway, putting that aside, I know it's late, haven't had my coffee, but that's okay. Don't want to be jittery tonight. I actually just want to kind of converse. Anyway, going back to the Sasquatch. I've been camping many times over the years. I was in the military, did a lot of field training exercises all over the United States, up and down California, and I see my fair share of unexplainable phenomenon with Sasquatch and such, and I'll leave it at that. And I noticed too that times I've gone camping with my buddies, first thing they want to do is they want to jump up, they want to try to take pictures and such. Well, what's going to happen when you go into the woods, the dark, deep dark woods at night? What's more dangerous than the elusive mythical being that's peering through the bushes or lurking beyond the trees? Slip and falls, people. Tripping over rocks, banging your head, that's more dangerous. So you get my point? When you're around the campfire at night and you hear something moving around, do not try to be the hero and go out there and see what it is. Stay close to the fire. Have flashlights on hand, because chances are you've either got a coyote roaming around, or depending where you are in the United States, maybe a wolf or two. You have some hungry, curious critter coming around. They're not going to attack. You stay calm. The worst you might get is a bear or raccoon, which for the most part they're not going to run towards you. So don't be freaking out. Have some common sense when you're camping. The moral of the story is, if you're around the campfire, don't think it's Bigfoot. Stop, wait, listen, take a look, and be safe. And if Bigfoot just so happens to walk up to you, offer him a cold one, offer him a bag of chips or something, have him kick back by the fire, and have him tell your story. Even if he does sound like a Wookiee or, grunting ape. Who knows? He might even sound like Willie Nelson. Okay, enough said about that. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but moral of the story is, summertime, everybody goes out and about, whether it's hiking in the desert, backpacking through the backwoods, or sitting around the campfire or doing some fishing. If you just keep all your senses keen and open, your sight, your smell, sense of touch, your hearing, everything, just keep an open mind and realize that you definitely are not alone out there, whether it be you're invading nature's territory, or you're walking through the realm of the unknown. Things are out there. Things are unexplainable. So just be careful out there with your summer recreation activities. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about a haunted location out in Pomona, California. An old Victorian home that was rumored to have held seances with the infamous Harry Houdini attending. I'm Tony Lucero. You're listening to Ghost Radio USA. Phone lines are open for the next 15 minutes. 562-712-3812. We'll be back after this. And we are back. That was a brief little intermission. I'm Tony Lucero, and you are listening to Ghost Radio USA on Spreaker. www.ghostradiousa.weebly.com. It's a handful, but hey, we're still soliciting donations to try to help us, expand, give you a bigger, better, more lucid show. Now, if you'd like to donate to the show, like our sponsors have, you can simply log on to the website and click any one of the donor widgets. We have a fundraiser widget on there right now that's a continuous fundraising campaign. You can donate as little as $1 get your name mentioned on the air. Little thank you, if you will. And the more you donate, the more props you get, the more swag you get. So please donate to our fundraiser accounts, our Indiegogo accounts. They're all located at the Ghost Radio USA website at, get ready people, www.ghostradiousa.weebly.com. That website address will get shorter once we raise enough money to actually purchase our own domain name. So until then, just got to type a little more, people. So also, I'd like to give a little thanks out there to the Downey Arts Coalition out in Downey, California. They're a great nonprofit organization. Just a big collective group of artists in the city of Downey who just wants to promote the arts, whether it be photography, film, music, or theater, and other. They a good group to get to know if you're here in the city of Downey. They do a lot for the community, so Downey Arts Coalition, thank you very much. And I'd also like to give a big shout out to the Downey Beat. The Downey Beat is a great online newspaper, news source for all things happening in the city of Downey. They are at www.downeybeat.com. And a special shout out to John Zander, the editor-in-chief and head reporter of the Downey Beat. So, while we're on a quick break, I was looking a few things up to share with everybody. Getting back to The Conjuring, according to early numbers, it made $41.5 million on its opening weekend. Good job for a horror / paranormal film, especially in July. It's not even Halloween yet, and you guys just managed to rake in the bucks, and I'm pretty sure we'll be up in the triple digits by next weekend. So, like I said earlier in the broadcast, I didn't get a chance to see it yet. Hopefully I get to see it this week sometime, before the next broadcast. But The Conjuring is based on true accounts of paranormal research done by Lorraine and Ed Warren, the rock stars of the ghost hunting realm. Well, ghost hunting is kind of a loose term to use, but take that back. They are rock stars in the paranormal research field. There, I said it. Sounds a little more intelligent. They're shaking their head over here. Yeah? Okay, cool. So, before we move on, I'd also like to make a little sidebar here. Sometimes sharing a paranormal experience, whether it be ranges from a simple ghostly haunting, paranormal activity, simple ghost hunting experience, or cryptozoological beings like mentioned earlier, Sasquatch, favorite dude, not just a great beef jerky, not plugging anything in, but a great creature out there, to UFOs, which I have seen many before. We understand that sharing such accounts isn't always the most orthodox thing to do, and people are sometimes embarrassed to do so, to come forward. But here on Ghost Radio, we have one rule, actually well two, but one major rule is when you call in or when you listen or read our transcripts, keep an open mind. That is a cardinal rule. The other rule is, of course, when you call in, if anybody ever does decide to call in, don't curse. FCC don't like that. Even though this is an internet radio show, God willing, I'm trying to get this on the air, share with you guys. So, one last call for callers. You ready? 562-712-3812. Now, when we get back, got a little surprise announcement for you guys. This is something that's big for Ghost Radio. So, stay posted, and I'll be back shortly with that announcement. Alright, everybody, that was a quick little intermission. Just need a little time to, parch the old throat there. Just need to get a glass of water. So, let's see, where did we leave off? Okay, announcements. Okay, I did receive a few emails earlier today, and they all asked me pretty much the same thing. People wanted to know how they can actually put a paranormal group together. And who do they go to as far as advice on how to start one? Well, they chose to come to me. Now, if you are in the city of Downey or in the local area, or even if you're willing to take the drive to Downey, I am actually starting up a new paranormal group at the end of the summer. I don't want to give any details away, but we are looking for people who, and I say we, I know it sounds like Smeagol or whatever, but okay, everybody's shrugging their heads, just shaking their head at me like, hey dude, you're nuts. Anyway, if you're interested in joining a paranormal group, helping me form one, I am forming a new paranormal group based out in the city of Downey. Like I said, the cardinal rule for Ghost Radio USA is keep an open mind. Same thing with the group. Keep an open mind. The group is open to all ages, all genders, and, well, except if you're under 18, we're going to have you sign a parent permission slip, but needless to say, it's open to anybody who just wants to learn about the realm of the paranormal. We are looking for beginners, we're looking for seasoned investigators, people who have knowledge in the subject, or just have a general curiosity in the subject. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about the paranormal group I'm forming, and yes, we got some investigations coming up pretty soon, real soon, including a paranormal field trip, please log on to the Ghost Radio USA website. I'll say it one more time. Get a pen, marker, Sharpie, eyebrow pencil, something to write with. Ready? Okay. The website is www.ghostradiousa.weebly.com. You can also Google us, or you can find us on Facebook, and Twitter too, at Ghost Radio USA. Probably be the easiest bet. But anyway, those are the ways you can get a hold of me if you'd like to form the group. We're going to be having our first meeting in about 3 weeks. In about 3 weeks. I'm looking at the calendar now. So we'll be having our first meeting, and we'll go from there. So after a couple of years of hiatus, I am pleased to announce that I will be getting another group going finally. So if you have a K2 or any other equipment, bring it along. If not, I'll order some. So, what do we talk about now? It's got about 5 minutes left in the show. That's what I was thinking. What do we talk about? Okay. I'm going to go over another piece of paranormal research equipment that isn't very expensive at all. Something that's often overlooked, but is usually in the paranormal researcher's kit. And that is a weather station. Yes, a weather station. One of these little weather stations you can either get at Radio Shack, you can get them at Walmart in the camping section. CVS even sells them. Why is a weather station pertinent to paranormal research? Well, like I said when I first started broadcasting, paranormal research is part of paranormal science. We use scientific equipment to broaden our horizons, what we're looking for, come up with a hypothesis. Is this a case that we're going to debunk based on scientific findings, or is there something actually paranormal about the occurrence? And a weather station obviously will give you the correct moon phase, give you the local ambient temperature. Some of them will tell you if it's raining or not, and more importantly, the temperature. Gotta know your temperature. I mean, if it's hot outside and all of a sudden you feel a cold spot, You need that weather station, you need the temperature. So a portable weather station, another piece of equipment to add to your paranormal research arsenal, your toolbox, if you will. And getting away from the ghost hunting aspect, another key piece, which is also relatively pretty cheap. You can either get them at your local sporting goods store, Walmart's, eBay, even yard sales. I've seen that. A decent pair of binoculars. I mean, it's not something that you're going to have to look at the Hubble telescope with, but if you're looking for, actually, let me back that up. If you are scanning the skies for UFOs, or if you're looking for Sasquatch or Chupacabra, and you want to look at a safe distance, keep a pair of binoculars on hand. That goes in your kit. So 2 more pieces of equipment that are really not mentioned, on many forums and in many scopes and aspects. So I've mentioned before that there are quite a few places in Southern California, and a while back I stumbled upon this old house in Pomona. I'm not going to give too many details right now because this is going to segue into next week's episode. You might want to do a little research so we can compare and contrast notes. There's an old Victorian home in Pomona, on the outskirts actually, and it is rumored to have hosted an array of seances. Seances which also included local celebrities at the time, and somebody who stands out, quite extensively, and that's Harry Houdini. There's a rumor that Harry Houdini himself, the great escape artist who met his demise at a way too early age, if you will, actually sat in this house and attempted to contact the other side with a group of individuals, including the homeowner. So we're going to get into that next week. I'm going to have some excerpts from a research paper that I put together that's going to be included in my book Paranormal 101. So kind of to recap everything today, had some crazy weather, and just UFO sightings in MacArthur Park in LA. Giving you little tips and pointers about what to do and what not to do during a camping trip when you think you've seen or heard, felt or smelt some mythical elusive being out in the woods. Staying safe during camping. We've mentioned The Conjuring a few times. I've also talked about a couple more key pieces to the puzzle wheels, tools to add to your paranormal research kit arsenal. And I've given you a little piece of next week's episode. So, hopefully you guys call in next week. I'm Tony Lucero. This is Ghost Radio USA. Enjoy your week.